Good morning. My name's Fergus Mackay. I work for Flex Optics. Welcome to day one of NANOG. I'm a member of the program committee as well as the day job I have, and I'll be moderating all the sessions this morning. To kick off the conference, I'd like to invite our opening panel of speakers to do the opening session, which is Leslie Daigle, Lee Howard, Kat Gurinsky, and last but definitely not least, Tina Morris. Leslie is the chair of the NANOG Board of Directors and also CTO and Director of Internet Integrity at the Global Cyber Alliance. Lee is a Senior Vice President at IPv Global by Hilco Streambank. He's no stranger to this stage, and he's also our host for this meeting. And his first appearance was in 2010, which is about the same time I came to NANOG. So welcome, Lee. And Kat is our program committee chair, and our final person is Tina, who's about to time out on the board after 6 years. So, Leslie, over to you.
Thank you. All right. So welcome to San Diego. To get started, some fun facts about San Diego. As you may have already had occasion to experience, the weather in San Diego is ideal almost all the year long, with averaging 70 degrees over the course of the year. You may not have known that the fast food chain Jack in the Box started as a drive-through hamburger joint on El Cajon Boulevard in San Diego. And the first person ever to cross the San Diego Coronado Bridge, which you almost certainly did recently, was the then California Governor Ronald Reagan in 1969. And last but not least, the 1982 film Fast Times at Ridgemont High was based in San Diego's Claremont High School. So there you go, now you're situated. And to further situate you, if you haven't already found the details for the wireless, there are 3 different networks available. So choose your poison, use the password, and get online. Some statistics about our meeting this week. These are not live statistics. This is a snapshot from yesterday. But you are welcome to have a look at that URL to see what the actual breakdown in gender and organization type and age and professions are amongst the attendees here this week. We have NANOG board elections this week. There are 2 seats available. The board candidate panel, where you will have the opportunity to hear all of the candidates for the open positions talk, is tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. in the Constellation Ballroom. Certainly invite everybody to be at that session and participate. The voting is open to all NANOG members, and the voting begins on the 17th after the panel. And we really encourage everybody to please vote. Every year we have rather moderate turnout in terms of voting, but this is a case where you know the people, you'll have the opportunity to talk to them. Please share your thoughts on who are the best candidates for the NANOG board. You can also find out information about the candidates in terms of their bios and statements of support at the URL on this slide. Okay, another important update. Rather unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, our hotel for the Charlotte meeting canceled our contract because they decided that they would rather undergo renovations than have us have our meeting there. It's sort of like having a root canal instead of meeting somebody, but there you are. So staff have been working valiantly to sort out a new location, but unfortunately this has meant a change of dates. So mark in your calendar, the new dates are February 12th to 14th. With the Hackathon and Education program on the 11th. It's still planning to be in Charlotte, but everything will be announced when it's actually nailed up. There are still hosting opportunities available, so if it was the week that was putting you off from offering to host that meeting, new dates, so please consider hosting the meeting next time. I'd like to give a special thanks to our sponsors. In particular, I'd like to thank IPv4.global for hosting us here today, this week. And now I'll ask Lee to tell us a bit more about the company.
Good morning. clearly IPv4.global by Hilco Stream Bank is a lot of syllables, and clearly it's not our first time to NANOG. I think we've been the longest term consistent sponsor of NANOG. I think it's been at least 10 years that we had some kind of sponsorship at every NANOG. Even through pandemic, we had some kind of support for the organization, the community, because we care so much. It really is, we're part of the community. We're trying to make sure that everybody kind of gets to see us. Quickly, I wanted to share the question that everybody always asks me, it's what's pricing like right now? So if you're trying to buy or sell IPv4 addresses, this is how the curve has gone. /16s and larger are a little bit, are definitely on the higher end. Everything else is, come a lot further back down. In the last few months, it sort of has stabilized though, around in the mid to high 30s. Obviously, we'll give you more detail, come to Beer and Gear, or ask any of us. We'd love to chew your ear off about what dynamics look like. I want to share a couple of things that we're excited about that we've done this year. First, Aaron rolled out their qualified facilitator program. We became qualified facilitators. It was, there was some work to get that done, and we're happy to be on that list because, again, we're trying to be at all of the RIR meetings and express our support for the community. We launched a new program. We worked with SixConnect to roll out an app called Review. Download it from IPv4.global/review. And it'll do an audit of your address space utilization. We really threw everything we could think of at how to do a network scan and how to find out how you're using your IP addresses, and even propose a renumbering plan for you. In this application, it's all local. It stays in your machine. You can give it credentials as much or as little as you want to do. We tried very hard to make it friendly to network operators in the way they think of things. We're desperately looking for feedback. Latest release, if you've downloaded a previous version, latest release came out last week. And so you should download the updated version. Another milestone for us this year is we've sold over $1 billion worth of IP addresses. So it's clearly a major market has been happening. And we won a couple of awards for our growth as a company. Some new features. We're kind of known for our online platform. It's not all we do, but we're known for the online platform. And so we now welcome other brokers. We have a significant number of other IPv4 address brokers using our platform. They either find some addresses to sell and list them for sale on our site, or they have a client who needs addresses, they can find them from us. We've begun doing reputation reporting. A few bugs there we're still working through. We're trying to provide more information to buyers. Provided a feature for bundling, where you can put together a package of however many blocks of addresses you need, and a notify me feature so you can have it send you email when a block that meets your requirements comes up for sale. We've been growing our team. We have a few people here. So this is our team as of last year. We have a few people with us this week who weren't even in this picture last year. It's been a great year for us. It's been a great couple of years for us, and we hope we get to meet lots and lots more people this week. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much, Lee. And I would also like to make sure that we thank the rest of our sponsors as well, namely our platinum sponsors, AWS, Aaron, Sienna, Equinix. Our gold sponsors, Blue Cat, Telstra, and VeriSign. And then we also have a number of sponsors for specific functions, which we are very thankful for. So our meeting connectivity sponsors, as well as our network lounge sponsor, and our espresso bar sponsor. And I will point out, all of us coffee drinkers can be especially thankful for this sponsor, because the espresso bar was on the chopping block for this meeting's budget until they stepped up and said, we'd like to sponsor that. So thank you to all of our sponsors. And I know we'll all be enjoying Beer and Gear tomorrow, and we can have the opportunity to meet with all of these companies and thank them for their support of Beer and Gear. And our peering forum sponsors as well. And breakfast sponsors. I know that every good day starts with a good breakfast, so thank you for our breakfast sponsors. Not to leave out our lunch sponsors. And our break sponsors. We have a couple of social events this week. I think many of us had the opportunity to enjoy one last night, so thank you to our social event sponsors. and our service sponsors. And finally, one special acknowledgement and thanks. Edward McNair stepped down as the executive director of NANOG in September, and I think that it's an appropriate time to acknowledge all that Edward has done to move this organization forward. For the past 5 years, Edward has served as NANOG's executive director. During his tenure, he grew the team of NANOG staff, giving the organization the capacity to efficiently address the many operational needs and develop more tooling for community engagement. And anybody who's been here through those last 5 years knows the arc of that growth and development. NANOG's outreach and education also saw growth in both activities during our meetings and also crossing the continent to address institutions of higher learning everywhere. Edward guided the organization through the very difficult pandemic years, including the launching of the first all virtual meetings and associated tools. He launched the DEI initiatives, bringing the Ombuds team to life for the community. Edward oversaw improvements in our website with new branding and logo. He also oversaw the introduction and improvement of tools such as the replacement of the dreaded CVent registration tool for our meeting registration, the program committee support tool that has greatly facilitated the mechanics of the work of our PC, and the NANOG meeting system, as well as the virtual attendance platform. And all of these things have really shaped the NANOG community platform that we know and love today. So I would like to ask Edward to come up, please. We have some notices of, we have some thank yous. We have a thoughtful gift from the staff for a lovely gift card for a restaurant that hopefully he will enjoy. And we have a plaque. This doesn't look like a plaque. This is not a plaque. The plaque will be here this afternoon. So I would like to say thank you on behalf of the board to Edward, and I would like to ask all of you, when you get the chance to see Edward, to share your thanks. So thank you very much, Edward. Appreciate all your work. Great. We'll get you the real plaque. We will.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve this community. It has been a pleasure. I'd like to thank the board for the support and especially the staff. The NANOG community means a lot to me. And it has been a pleasure to see it grow, evolve, and become a safe place to meet, to connect. And I hope to always kind of be remembered favorably in helping NANOG kind of move to the next step. So thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it, and have a wonderful meeting.
All right, the fun part of the meeting, code of conduct, right? This is why you guys are all here. The code of conduct was created, as Edward just said, to make this a meeting space. You all agreed to the code of conduct when you signed up for this meeting, whether you realize you ticked that box or not. And it's just to make this community function better. It's a reminder, we do this at every meeting, just as a reminder of how we expect you to treat each other. There will be no aggressively pushing your services, distribution or consumption of alcohol at a NANOG-sponsored event other than what's served to you by licensed individuals, audio, video, recordings of sessions when the speaker has made it clear that they will not be recorded. We will not allow offensive verbal comments or physical contact because of sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, age, disability, physical appearance, personal appearance, race, color, national origin, or religion, or lack thereof. Sexual images of any kind are not to be displayed in public areas, and deliberate intimidation, stalking, threatening, or following are not allowed. In addition, harassing photography or recording of any time, sustained disruption of a presentation, inappropriate physical contact, or unwanted sexual attention. I think we can all agree we don't want to be treated that way, nor would we want people we love to be treated that way. So please think of that and step in if you see anything inappropriate. We have ombuds on site, and I'm gonna ask them to stand up if we can to help identify the back corner over there. Future and Karen are fantastic, and they're here for not just an extreme case of, say, sexual harassment or something like that, which we hope we don't have, but to help you maybe cope with a misunderstanding with a colleague or somebody said something you found intimidating. You can work through issues. They're fantastic for that, and they are available to anybody during the meeting, but also in between meetings. If you need something NANOG related, the email associated, whoops, I went back too far. The ombuds at NANOG is actively monitored year round. So if you need a meeting, they have a space to go privately and talk, and they're there to support us in a number of ways. It's been very valuable to the community. Moving on to, I've taken on this year, we started a Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. This is my final year on the Aaron board, or sorry. I'm also up for Aaron board election. Anyway, my final year on the NANOG board, we have term limits on the NANOG board. Each board member can only serve 2 terms, which I think is great for giving everybody an opportunity to run. And all of that, but this is my last year, and this is kind of a passion project for me to make sure we bring a more inclusive community together. This year we started a committee. We sent out open invitation. We had 14 people step up and participate. We actually had 2 names I left off that had to drop off for personal reasons, but they were recently filled with Julia and Akila from IPv4 Global stepped up to take those seats. It's a very diverse group of people. It's intentionally large to bring as many perspectives as we can, because we don't want to do harm in the process of trying to make a more inclusive community. At this particular meeting, we have a couple of events I want to make you aware of. We have a DEI talk on Tuesday. Sorry, that's not on here. It's on Tuesday, and there's a lunch following that will both be led by Joy Kenigo, that she's bringing the talk and curating the conversation after the talk during the lunch. So please participate in that. We're talking about inclusive leadership, race, and the dynamics of humanity. I think that applies to all of us, whether you're a leader or working in an organization with peers that aren't exactly like you. We're also doing something a little different this time. We're doing a Women in Tech Mixer. That's only going to be open for an hour from 4 to 5 in the Avalon Ballroom. It's an event to bring those that identify as female or using she, her pronouns together for an afternoon of networking. Basically, to make friends in the community and figure out how we can make each other better. There'll be some games and some gift cards during that. And finally, we're having a DEI discussion forum in the breakout room on Wednesday at 11 a.m., where we'll go into more detail about what we're doing for DEI and invite you to give suggestions, feedback on what we've done so far, what else we could do. Part of DEI, I consider building community. For those of us that have come to a lot of meetings, I look at Lee, because I think he and I have been to close. We started coming around the same time. When I show up, I see family, I see friends. I have friends at all these different company names. If my organization has a problem, I know a real person I can call at almost every company that will help me find the right person to resolve it. That's one of the benefits. That's one of the reasons my company continues to send me to NANOG meetings. It is hard as a newcomer to come into a 1,000-person room, or in this case, 700-800-person room, and find that sense of community. It's easy to feel isolated, or maybe you didn't make the connections you need. So the DEI committee has taken building community as one of our efforts and trying to create opportunities for people to meet and talk and find that community. So a couple of things we're doing are a little different. This week, Louie Lee is hosting pickleball each morning from 6:45 to 9:15. We've had quite a few people turn out for that, and it's a fun way to start your day, get a little bit of physical activity, and maybe meet some new people. At the lunches, we are doing table topics. Some of them are technical, but some of them aren't. And it's just to promote conversation. I don't know about you guys, but I can be a little introverted and not know how to start a conversation sometimes. And that just gives you something to talk about at that table. So you'll see some of the tables, and certainly not all, will have table topics. And then finally, on discourse at community.nanog.com, we have, or .org, sorry, we have some affinity groups where you can try to meet new members of the community and schedule coffee meetups, walks, runs, RPI. We have kids on there, people traveling with children, whiskey connoisseurs, white wine connoisseurs, and just trying to find people and all that. So please take a look at that page, and if you see something you identify with, please participate and try to find people that enjoy the same things you do and build your own community here. Finally, we'll switch over to Kat Gurinsky for the program committee review.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Kat Gurinsky. I'm the current chair of the NANOG program committee, and I know you're all excited for our program today, so I'll give you a quick overview. So here's a list of our program committee members. We're board appointed and then self-governing. We will have new appointments in February, so next NANOG, if you're interested in serving, please talk to us between now and then, and we can give you more information on what it entails to be part of the program committee. So we've got the general session and tutorials. So NANOG 89 has 23 talks on topics including but not limited to automation, BGP, RPKI, measurement, monitoring, panels, optics. We have a tutorial every day this NANOG. So on Monday we have a tutorial on building virtual labs. On Tuesday we have an optical networking tutorial, and on Wednesday we have a Kubernetes and load balancer tutorial. We have 2 keynotes for NANOG 89. Today we'll have John Kieran coming up after us. The expanding landscape of internet governance, why network operators need a global view. And John is the president and CEO of Aaron. And then tomorrow, on Tuesday, we'll have a fireside chat with the chief operating officer of Arista Networks, Anshul Sadana. And then that'll be moderated and with questions by NANOG producer Elizabeth Drolet. Later today, we have the return of NANOG Jeopardy. So NANOG Jeopardy is back, and we're really happy to welcome the following 3 contestants. Avi Friedman, Alex Latsko, and Richard Steenbergen will be our contestants on NANOG Jeopardy today. It's a really good way to learn some history of the internet, some fun facts, learn some new protocol numbers you didn't know about. And it's very comedic as well, so it's educational and comical. I highly recommend coming to it. It'll be today at 2:30 p.m. In Commodore CD, which is this room. And if you'd be interested in being a future contestant for NANOG Jeopardy or a similar game show with us, then please reach out to the PC and talk to us, because we're going to plan on doing this regularly at future conferences. So some program tips. We have a virtual chat. So the chat tab is just the general place to talk about everything. Under the Q&A tab, that is where you can go and ask a question for the presenter. So even you in-person folks, if any of you are super introverted and scared of getting up to the mic, you can actually ask a question in the Q&A tab just like the virtual folks, and we will read it out loud and ask for you if you don't want to get in front of the microphone. Otherwise, in-person folks, come up to the microphone. And a quick reminder, please state your name and affiliation when you get on the microphone before you ask your question, if you don't mind. Also on the agenda website, you can get the presentation materials. So if you like to follow along on slides and read through them as they're being presented or read them again later, all of those are on the agenda website underneath each talk. So just expand it, you'll see the download for those. Don't forget to submit your lightning talks. Lightning talks are in person. So virtual folks, I'm really sorry, but you can't just do a lightning talk. You have to be here in person to do them. It'll be 5:30 to 6 o'clock on Tuesday and 4:30 to 5 on Wednesday. The abstracts are due 3:30 the day before you wish to speak. So please get those in today by 3:30 if you're interested in speaking Tuesday, or by 3:30 tomorrow if you're interested in speaking on Wednesday. The PC will send notifications the evening prior, so make sure you do not forget to include your cell phone in your profile so we can actually get a hold of you. And then if you are selected to do a lightning talk, the final slides will be due by noon on the day of your presentation. Also a friendly reminder, we have surveys every conference, and those really help the program committee and the board and everybody plan for future conferences, make them better for you guys. So it's at nanog.org/surveys. We'll have a daily survey Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And if you complete it at the end of that day, then you're entered into a chance for a drawing for a $100 gift card. All the surveys will close on Friday, the 20th of October. And then don't forget that you can also provide feedback for the Diversity and Equity and Inclusion Forum or the Hackathon Forum on Wednesday in person. So for those, although there's not surveys for them this time, there is that forum where you can ask questions, provide feedback, and give your insights. And with that, I hope you enjoy your program. Thank you for coming.